It's Kasim with Solutions 8, and in this video I'm going to show you a wicked ninja trick for audience sculpting. Now, you've heard a lot of PPC guys talk about keyword sculpting. That's fine, there's nothing wrong with that, but not enough people talk about audience sculpting. That's a wrong that I'm righting today. Let's do it. We're going to dive into Google Ads. Inside of Lord Google, I'm going to direct your attention to the Tools and Settings menu. Go to Shared Library, Audience Manager. Stay inside of Remarketing. And then we're going to select this little blue bubble. And this is going to bring up a couple of options here. The one we're going to focus on today is website visitors. So this is an audience that we're building based off of the way that people have engaged with our website. Real quick aside, this is the unsung hero of the entire Google Ads ecosystem. Far too much attention is paid at getting new traffic and not enough attention is paid at redeeming and maximizing the traffic that you currently have. So, and there's nothing wrong, by the way, with new traffic acquisition. It's just expensive. And so if you already have people coming to your website, it makes a lot of sense for you to build the logic necessary to speak to those people in a way that's contextually appropriate. Said less like a nerd, talk to them on their own terms. They're actually telling you what they're interested in, what they like, what they don't like, based off of how they browse your website. And you can actually think of it as having a conversation with people. Imagine meeting a new friend. The dreaded analogy that I always use is on an airplane, because you just have no choice as to who you sit next to. So you're sitting down, somebody plumps down right next to you, and you're trying to talk to this person. And no matter what you say, they respond with the exact same thing. That's what your remarketing is right now. So you're asking them really insightful, intelligent questions and giving them a lot of information, and then they're just parroting back this same 2 or 3 sentences they've been saying the entire flight. You're going to want to jump out of that plane. Be a more engaging flight buddy. This analogy might have broke down, but you know what I'm getting at. You know what I'm saying. So here's how we're going to do that. When we're building an audience, you're probably familiar with this section, maybe, where you can target people based off of the page that they visit, and that's fine. Good for you. But I want to draw your attention to something way cooler and far more specific. If you select this drop-down, you have a couple of options here. So visitors of a page who also visited another page. This is so cool, and it's so cool because there is a natural cadence to the purchase process. We've known that. That's what the sales funnel is, by the way. Anytime you look at a sales funnel, it's nothing marketers invented. That's just the way that people walk through the psychological evaluation necessary to make any buying decision whatsoever. You have your own purchase cadence, and by the way, if you don't know it, Google already does. If you're using Google Analytics, there's something called top conversion path, and Google will show you the steps that people take in order to convert, and it will show you the most popular conversion paths. And so this information is already accessible to you if you're using Google Analytics. What you want to do is you want to identify the steps that people take in order to purchase from you. So just as an example, using my dummy lawyer account, let's say that I know that people come to my homepage and then they're going to go to a practice area page. And then let's say I don't have one, but let's say that I have like a how it works page. And then of course there's the request a free consultation. Like that's my purchase cadence. So what I would do here is probably say, anybody who has visited my corporate taxes page and has also visited my request a consultation page. And I know that this prospect is interested because they've walked through the purchase path that most people walk through when they buy from me. Now, a ultra wicked ninja trick, if you want to, is to exclude people who've already converted. Google makes an all converters category available to you by default. And so when I add this audience to the remarketing campaign, I can exclude people that have converted just to make sure that they're not getting a redundant message. And I can even take those converters, if you have enough of them to build an audience, you can take those converters and you can send them like case study or testimonial remarketing campaigns, just so they start to kind of reinforce their purchasing decision or their lead decision, depending on how they've opted in. So really cool way for you to canvas. And notice that there are some ands and ors here. Be really careful with the ands, because as you'll notice, Google says a visitor must match this entire rule group in order to apply. And so just depending on how they're being pixeled and what their session looks like that particular time, I would just be careful about being a little bit too aggressive with this. The or is pretty cool though. So let's say I have a corporate taxes page and I have a business taxes page. Then I could say, well, either of these works really well, but they have to have visited my consultation page. So that's really cool audience sculpting tip number 1. Tip number 2, I think is equally as cool, is we can come down here and we can say visitors of a page who did not visit another page. Now, this is Wicked Ninja, because let's say that I'm this same attorney and I want to build a campaign specifically for people interested in my corporate tax offering, but I don't want to target people that are interested in the personal taxes. I can come over here and I can say, bam. Let's target everybody who's visited my corporate tax page, but nobody who's visited my personal tax page. Or if I wanted to be really aggressive, I could actually make this my root domain and just say, hey, I want to make sure they haven't targeted the personal taxes page. So there's a lot that you can do here just in terms of making sure that you're pushing people into the campaign that's most applicable and most necessary to them. And then speaking to them in a way that's appropriate. And that's maybe the most important facet to this conversation. Isn't just the audience sculpting. It's also what you say after the fact. You now know really important, really valuable information about where they've been on your site, what they've engaged with, what they're interested in, what their pain points are. And so now the ads that they're met with should be consistent with that narrative and then should move them down to the next point in your funnel. So don't just batch and blast the same remarketing campaign to everybody. Honestly, that's better than nothing, but if you have the time and the threshold for pain, this is the way to really begin having meaningful conversations with people at scale, which is kind of the marketer's dream, right? I hope you liked this video. If it was valuable to you, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. I shoot one video every single day because I'm annoying that way. And if I get to 1,000 subscribers, I get to start going live, which is going to be really fun for me and hopefully for you too. And that's all I got. Thanks for watching. I truly appreciate your time. Hope that I'm helping in some way, and I will see you tomorrow.